Hi, I'm Eric Lenask with TMC's Roadshow. We are here in San Jose, California this week, and I'm talking with Vinny Schiavo. Vinny's the CEO of Device Lock. Vinny, thanks for joining me. Great to have you.
Thanks for having me. It's good to be here.
So, one of the big terms, the big sort of hot buzzwords in the industry lately has been BYOD. Given what Device Lock does, I'm sure you've heard of it. What impact has the whole BYOD movement had on what you do?
Well, it's very topical, as you say. It's been a boon to our business, actually, because there's so much emphasis now on protecting organizations from people taking sensitive information out of the building via these mobile devices. Everybody's bringing personal mobile devices into the workplace now. And most of us tend to think of that as their phone, which is kind of the obvious one, but this has really been a problem for a long time, not just with smartphones, but all kinds of small mobile devices like USB sticks or digital cameras and iPods and iPads and all these things. So our company really specializes in setting and enforcing policy for the use of those kinds of devices in the workplace.
So you mentioned a number of devices that everybody's familiar with, but I think often go ignored almost when people talk about mobile security or enterprise security at large.
Yeah, I think so. There's a tendency for all of us to kind of stereotype the malicious hacker as this evil person on the other side of the world that's trying to hack into your network and gain access either for, just to disrupt your business or to actually steal information for profit. And that's certainly an issue and a threat, but I think most large organizations have long since dealt with that threat through traditional gateway security products. What our products do is really protect you against the trusted insider. And that's not to say that your employees or guests or whatever are bad guys. It's just that a lot of times people do stuff not realizing the implications or that certain things that they do could cause security problems for the organization. I mean, you hear all the time about people trying to take home work for the weekend and putting it on a USB stick, and then they get home, can't find the USB stick, and now you have some secret merger plans or something that are out in the wild that shouldn't have been. Our software allows you to set and enforce policy for what you can put on those kind of devices, so we can prevent those kinds of incidents.
So I can't put a file, some of those sensitive files on a USB stick, take it home, and put it on my home PC where maybe my security isn't quite as strong.
Exactly.
So really it does help keep that corporate data where it needs to stay.
That's right.
Now what about, how do you work with mobile devices, whether it's laptops or cellular phones?
Well, first of all, you can look at them as the same thing. I mean, when you I carry an iPhone, and I know when I go to work, I dock my iPhone, so it's charging while I'm working. But also happens to be plugged into my USB port, so it's a gigantic 32 gigabyte drive that's attached to the company network. And anything that I have privileges to see, I can just move over there if I wanted and walk out the front door with that phone in my pocket. So that's the first thing that we need to be able to do, is prevent people putting information on the phone as if it's a drive. And the other thing is how you can attach the phone through wireless or through the network itself, and that's important to control as well.
What about attaching documents to emails?
That too is important, to be able to see what kind of documents are being attached and whether that conforms to policy or not. Our software lets you set policy not just on the context of a data transfer, but the actual content of the file itself. So what that means is context has to do with time of day, day of the week, type of file, size of file, and who the person is that's doing this. But content is actually, okay, now all that stuff checked off, you're fine, the time of day is fine, all that's okay, but what's actually in the file that you're trying to move? Does it have 10,000 customer credit card numbers in it? Does it have all of our employee social security numbers in it? So that's the content.
When do companies come to you? Before they've encountered some sort of a data breach, or before?
Well, like any security product, it's a mix. I mean, there's always every week there's someone somewhere in the world that contacts us in a panic because there's been a breach and they've got yelled at and they have to do something about it. But, there's also companies that are following best practices and setting up their infrastructure the way they should, and they're ideally getting to us before there's an incident.
Is that an easy conversation for you to approach enterprises with, trying to explain to them why they need this kind of a solution?
Yeah, it really is. Prior to this, in a past life, I was involved in selling enterprise firewalls, and that's a whole different ball of wax. I mean, there you're setting up this impenetrable perimeter, and it's all about keeping people out. And that's really changed over time, so that today people are coming and going in and out of the front door with all these mobile devices in their backpacks or briefcases. So what we're doing today is really helping companies address that risk, because so many large enterprises have spent millions of dollars building these traditional perimeters, and now with all these mobile devices, they're having to scramble to figure out, well, wait a minute, what do we do about the person that just walks in the front door, takes information on a phone or a USB stick and walks out the front door? So it's actually kind of fun to sit down with an IT professional and point those issues out to them if they haven't already thought about it. I mean, most people are thinking about this, but a lot of times it's more the business people that haven't really stopped to think about the risks that are posed by the trusted insider that are carrying these devices in and out of the building.
Excellent. Well, Vinny, it's been great chatting with you. Thanks for joining us here on TMC's Roadshow.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you.